All right. So really, this is just I'm testing some stuff. I've got a theory about some things, um, but wanted to just come on and just kind of chat, talk about golf. I felt like talking about golf, sitting at work today, and thought, you know what, I'll just run a live stream and see what happens here. Um, so hopefully, preparing for girls. What does that mean, Sydney? Not sure what preparing for girls means. Bated breath, probably. Um, so everybody survived the Super Bowl, I'm assuming. My Super Bowl thoughts are what a terrible game. I'm not really even an NFL guy. I do follow the Broncos a little bit. I started following them again this year, but not a huge fan, but decided I'd watch. The funny thing is, I don't know if you guys played golf on Super Bowl weekend, but um, my wife and I played Saturday or Sunday morning, Super Bowl morning. We played 9 holes, and and when we got home, we were laughing because we couldn't remember. Our house was sort of the hub for a lot of social activities with our friends, and we couldn't remember if we'd invited people over for the Super Bowl. So we're kind of waiting for people to text and call and see what happened, and like tentatively reaching out, like, what are you guys doing? Anybody doing anything? And so eventually we ended up with sort of our usual group of friends over at the house watching the Super Bowl and being completely disappointed. But yeah, no, I'm not prepared. I'm really not. So anyways, the Super Bowl was really kind of a dud. I don't think I've watched the last 2 or 3 years. It's been on and I've been in the house, but I've not watched it. And apparently I have not really missed anything. The commercials weren't that great, and the game itself was a total loser. But anyways, beside the point, I really just wanted to sort of talk about golf. I mean, my Super Bowl weekend started off on Friday morning. It was Friday morning. And here in Oregon, it was, the weather was amazing. It was blue skies, 55 degrees, sunny. And my wife sends me a text at like 10:30 and she says, "Hey, do you think you can get a tee time this afternoon?" And I'm taking 3 seconds to say 100%. So I call the pro shop, set up a tee time. They have some sort of tournament going on, and he says, "Hey, just show up at 4 o'clock and we'll get you out." So 4 o'clock on Friday before the Super Bowl, my wife and I roll up to the club, grab our gear, run down, jump on the first tee, and off we go. Because it was just the two of us and we were just playing for fun, just kind of dorking around. I played from the forward tees again, and I've done some videos on that. I've had varied success playing from the forward tees, but it was really, really fun. And I have some ideas about playing from the forward tees from here on out. But I think I don't think, I know, I was 1 over with 2 to play, right? Playing from the forward tees. I'd come off back to back birdies and got myself to 1 over, and immediately doubled the eighth hole and finished up at 3 over, which was totally fine. But I really started thinking about, maybe I should play the forward tees until I can shoot even par. Um, I kind of go back and forth sometimes about which tees to play from. Some folks say, well, it's based on driving distance, or it's based on this distance or that distance. Shouldn't it just be based on score? I kind of think maybe it should just be based on score, but that's just me. What do you think? I don't know. Um, I've never shot even par from the white tees that I usually play, and I'm curious to see if I could do it from the red tees. I I don't know, but it's something to try, and I'm kind of considering doing that for 2026 as sort of one of my challenges, is to just play from the forward tees until I can shoot even par or better from those forward tees. And I think actually it probably may not take me too long. Yes, uh, Jamstar, Jamel, I did get a haircut. This is called the juvenile delinquent. That's what I call it. It takes me about 10, 15 minutes in the bathroom with the dog's razor. And I clip for myself down. And yeah, I look like I just got let out of juvenile hall. So, but that's it. That's it. How are you doing tonight, Jamal? Jamel? I kind of keep saying your name wrong. So who watched the pros, the waste management at TPC? Also, not a very big PGA guy, and I'm always kind of curious, like, where do people get their golf fix from? I don't really get my golf fix from the PGA. From watching the pros, I follow it a little bit. I will say we watched the majority of Hideki's back nine and the playoff on Sunday, and mostly because we were waiting for the Super Bowl to come on, and that course just looks gorgeous in HD, full HD on your big old TV. Um, and I am a big Hideki fan. He's probably like one of my top 3 or 4 favorite golfers, and and so watching him sort of like break down at the end was just so painful. And the other painful part about it was I love his yellow shirt and his yellow highlighted Asics shoes. So we were all Googling because we were all like, oh, that's such a cool shirt. Those are great shoes. Can't find them anywhere. It sucks. So if you know where to find Hideki's shoes, let me know. Let's see. Okay, we got Rogers in great format. Okay, thank you, Roger. Let's see. Yeah. Well, Jamel, that's awesome that you're training for your new job, and condolences on losing all of the free golf time that you had going for you for such a long time. But anyway, so it was kind of interesting to watch a tournament. I haven't watched a PGA tournament in a really long time, like I said, or at least not as much as I did. Occasionally, I'll watch the back nine or the second half of the back nine of like the major championships, and that's about it. But I was very pleased to see that Jack Doherty, who I'd kind of heard of before, but don't really know him too much, but he's a YouTube guy. Kind of nice to see him, fuck around and find out with the PGA Tour at the Waste Management and get himself booted and banned from PGA Tour events for the future. Just don't really need that. Don't need that in our lives. Thank you, Mr. M. Baldonado 412. I did have a wonderful day today, and if you're talking about Super Bowl Sunday, yeah, that was also wonderful too. But I was really happy to see. I don't like to wish ill on people, but some people kind of bring it upon themselves, and that's just sort of what you get for being a twat, right? But that said, PGA, don't watch too much of it. It's just too vanilla. I am glad to see people like Brooks coming back. I'm glad to see Patrick Reed coming back. I don't really care for Patrick Reed, but he's good for the game, and he's absolutely tearing it up on the DP World Tour, right? He's won 2 out of the 4 events, I think it is. I think he's right there with Chris Gotterup, who won at the Waste Management. They're both 2 wins out of 4 events, I believe. So that's pretty amazing, and that means we will definitely be seeing him hitting probably PGA Tour full status early, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But I do follow some of the Korn Ferry Tour players. My alma mater is University of Oregon, and so I sort of follow a lot of the U of O golfers. So obviously Peter Jacobsen. You go way back. Peter Jacobsen is sort of the OG and of Oregon golf, of duck golf. But you've got folks like Aaron Wise. He's a PGA Tour winner, NCAA champion. You've got Daniel Mernicki was on those teams. He's kind of bouncing around Korn Ferry, PGA Tour Americas. Who else? Wyndham Clark. Can't really forget Wyndham Clark, another duck. On the LPGA, Caroline Inglis, I follow her. Owen Averett is a new graduate who's playing, I think, on PGA Americas. And then probably one of my favorites, his nickname is the Panda, and it's Norman Zhang. And he was a Haskins Award winner and won an individual title and a team title at U of O. And if you Google Norman Zhang, it's Xiong. Norman Zhang was he was one of many guys who were tabbed as the next Tiger Woods. He was an amazing junior golfer as a kid. He was, playing way above his age group and winning titles right and left. He was amazing at Oregon. He left early. I think that was a mistake. He left after his sophomore year. And he has kind of struggled to find his footing as a pro. He got his card last year and then lost it. And it's kind of hard tracking down how someone like that is doing when you are following a particular golfer and they sort of drop out of the top tier of the PGA. It's easier to follow on the Korn Ferry, but when they lose Korn Ferry status or get lower status and don't automatically get into all the events, it's really hard to follow and it takes a lot of digging. So it was following him on the Outlaw Tour in Arizona and figuring out when he was playing, following him on the All Pro Tour in Florida, and going on to Blue T or Blue Q or whatever that does like the live scoreboards for the Monday qualifiers. So he was playing Monday qualifiers or whatnot. And so it was kind of cool to see him this past weekend back in contention on the Corn Ferry Tour down in South America. I forget the name of the eventual winner, but the eventual winner, he won by 2 strokes and he eagled the 18th hole. So it was looking like it was going to a playoff, but didn't quite happen. So, and yeah, Jamel, he was supposed to be total can't miss, and he hits the ball a mile. All the guys do, but he did it even as a youngster. I mean, he was just killing the ball. I think there's an early, if you go back to like No Laying Up's YouTube channel and go back to some of their very first videos, they did a video. It's actually really funny. It's how many clubs in Norman Zhang's bag can he hit further than DJ Pyhowski's driver? And I think Norman goes all the way down to 7 or 8 iron. It's some crazy number that he's hitting past DJ's driver. At the time, DJ probably drives it further now than he did then, but at that time, it was actually really, really funny to watch because he really, Norman really puts it out there. So, but anyways, so I kind of want to talk a little bit about 2026 season and what I got going on. Not that anybody cares, but again, I'm just playing around with this format and seeing how it works. So I ended the season. We're coming up. Oregon has a handicap season, and it goes from March 1st to, I believe, November 31st. Ended last season at a 13.7. My lowest was a 12. And I think I've said this probably a million times on here, but I'll repeat it again. So my goal this year is to get to a single digit. 9.9, totally fine with me. If I can go lower than that, that would be great. But that's goal number one, really, for the golf season. I also, one of the things that I want to do that I kind of challenged myself with at the end of last year was joining. So I'm a member at a club, and that's at least where I play at Creekside Golf Club, whatever, Creekside Golf Club in South Salem. So that's where I play most of my rounds. It's where most of my videos that if you've watched any of my course vlogs, any of my videos, that's where those are all played at. But I joined a club external from my club, that Northwest Golf Guys. So you may have heard of them or something similar to them. I think they do NorCal Golf Guys and now SoCal Golf Guys as well. But I joined them strictly because I wanted to do playing competitions. And so my brother-in-law joined with me, and we've played in 3. We've played one a month, except for this month. We kind of bailed on this month because they were kind of far away and we didn't want to travel for it that far. But I played, the first event was back in November. In November, we played at Pumpkin Ridge, which is where the first U.S. Live Golf tournament was played on one of the courses there. And that was individual stroke play. And I made an absolute mess of that round. My brother-in-law played actually out of his mind and ended up winning, like, I don't know, I think he won close to $100. It's all shop credit or whatever, but that's fine. And then we played in December. We played a second event at Oregon Golf Association, OGA, and that was a shamble where we both hit our drives, and then you pick the best drive and off you go. We played a shamble, and we again finished in the money. This time we both did. It was a combined score, so we finished in the money. And that was really fun. And then January, we went to Langdon Farms, which is another sort of semi-famous, I guess, Oregon course that's just south of, it's right between Salem, where I live, and Portland up north. And that was a best ball tournament. And we didn't win a lot, but we won, I don't know, another $40, $50 or something like that. I recently spent all of my shop credit on golf balls, TP5s, which I don't like, but I bought them because they are covered in Oregon Duck logos. So I don't know. What balls do you guys play? Tell me in the comments. But so that's really sort of my goals for 2026 is, in terms of golf, is really just, one, get the cap down. And if you ask, like, what's your specific plan for doing that? It's going to be the same as last year. I went from a 16 to a 12 last year. It's just play a lot. I played like 130 plus rounds last year. And I think more than anything, that's really what drives that handicap down, is being on the course. I'd rather be on the course than be like at a practice center or a driving range or whatever. So that's the entirety of my plan, is to continue playing 18 holes every Saturday, Sunday with my wife. And then when the weather starts getting better and when the sun starts setting later, it will be afternoon rounds, kind of sneaking out of the office and going and playing 9 holes. And then in the summertime, when it's light out till 8 or 9 o'clock, it's trying to squeeze in 18 holes in the afternoon, a couple times a week. So that's how I get 130 plus rounds in. It's pretty fun. And then again, I'm not totally decided on it, but I really think that I will spend a significant amount of this season playing from the forward tees. Um, it just it just seems to make sense to me why play back when I can't even or haven't even shot par from the forward tees. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? There's not a ton of you on here, but let me know in the comments if you think that's a dumb way to lower my handicap. Play a ton, play from the forward tees. Seems like a winner to me, but I don't know. Srixon soft or TaylorMade Tour soft? Are you asking me a question or are you saying those are what you play? Because I've knocked both of those balls around. I actually Srixon balls. I like the Z Star 15s quite a bit. That's like in my top 3 golf balls that I play. A good way to smooth out the swing. I think so. I think it is, Sydney. I think there definitely is a different mental feel playing forward like that. And so I don't overswing because I'm not trying to like really kill it, and it really takes most of the hazards that I would play that are in play off the tee from the white tees. It takes most of those out of play because I'm carrying them easily. But I'm kind of doing that right now from the white tees, which, if you're talking driver distance, then I probably should be playing a set back. But just if you're talking overall score, why would I play a set back just because I'm driving it past the hazards already, but I'm not shooting par? That's kind of what I think. So Jamel, my course handicap for my club course currently at a 13.7, it comes out to like a 13. It comes out to like a 13 or 14 on the course from the white tees. From the forward tees, I'm trying to remember. From the forward tees for the 9 that I played last Friday, I think it was a 4. So if it's an 8 handicap, if it's an 8 course handicap from the forward tees, that's pretty challenging. At least for me, that's pretty challenging because you got to kind of stir into the mix there that you're going to have at least one blow up hole around. But I don't know what do you think? Should it be? Where's the cutoff for when you do or don't play a forward tee like that based on course handicap? Excuse me. Maker's Mark down the wrong pipe. I'm going to get choked out on a live stream. That'll be awesome. Okay, so Mark, that's what you play to keep this spin down. Okay. Excuse me, I don't mean to be clearing my throat in the microphone. This is pretty funny. Didn't plan on this. So keep the spin down. I don't know if I need to keep spin down or not. I like spin around the greens. I like spin with my wedge. I like spin from about 8 iron in, like as much spin as I can get. With driver, obviously I don't like spin, but I want something that spins around the greens because I have a fairly decent short game. That's kind of my thinking, Jamel. Right, playing from the forward tees gets you in a better mental space, less pressure. And I'll have plenty of pressure because I'm going to be playing in some competitions and things like that. And it's not like I will never go back and play further back, but your spin will go too far in a slice. Yeah. High spin tends to do that, tends to not play nicely with a slice. My go-to move is a giant snap hook off the first tee. And so high spin balls on that are no bueno for me as well. I'm actually, for the winter time, because these are not handicap, these don't count for my handicap, these rounds, I play mostly premium balls that I just find. So they're not balls that I bought. I've got a couple dozen balls that I set aside that I'll play, once we start counting rounds. But I think right now I've been playing the same. Oh, what is it? I found some Chrome Soft. I found 2 Chrome Soft Tour triple diamonds. which those are pretty sweet, but I do not want to spend that kind of money on a golf ball. Um, but they feel pretty awesome, and I will definitely hoard those like Gollum in his ring every time I find them in the bushes. But I don't think I find very many of them because I think it's people that are probably a little bit better than me or a lot better than me that are typically playing those, and they're not losing as many as I do. Excuse me. I should have had a water bottle here too. Didn't realize I was going to choke myself out. So, other kind of to dos to check off the list this year for my golf game, and then I would love to hear what your sort of goals are for this year in terms of golf. Is it a handicap goal? Is it a number of rounds? Is it a score goal? I would love to break 80 again. I've only done it one time. It's I I've said this a million times too, I feel like, but I was lucky enough to have been recording, and so it's actually up on my YouTube channel. To actually break 80 and then have it all recorded is pretty fun. So I sent it off to my dad and everything. He was all excited. Everybody's all excited. They're all excited. So it was fun. But the other goals that I have are sort of like course related, and it's where I want to play this year. Obviously, I'm going to play a ton at my home course because it's my home course. Um, but I'm going to play. I want to get down to Mark par three bogey. You just played it. Bar Run in Roseburg. That's a course that I've been dying to get down and play. I just don't get down there very often. And it's been on my list every year. I come up with this list. I come up with a list of like 12 courses in Oregon that I want to play that I haven't played yet, and I get to none of them. And so my list is very short this year. It's Bar Run in Roseburg. It's a really neat course, neat looking course, designed by Dan Hickson. He's kind of Oregon's premier golf course designer. Sorry, I'm looking over here at my notes. Usual suspects. I go over and play Black Butte every year. My company has owns a condo over there, and so we do a little corporate trip over there and play golf. And then also Bandon in November. I'll be playing. I booked 2 weeks ago. I called up. It was the greatest experience booking with Bandon ever. It was super fast. I called up, got exactly the lodging that I wanted, and got the two courses that I wanted. So gonna go down the week of Thanksgiving. Gonna go on Monday morning. We're gonna play Old Mac Monday morning. We stay there at the inn, which is not the lodge. It's across the ravine, and we got the golf course side, so you can sit there on your patio and at the end of the day, sip some beers and cocktails and watch guys finish up on the 18th at Bandon, which is just like, it's one of the best experiences there. It's super relaxing. And then the next morning we'll get up and we'll go play Bandon. Did I say that right? Monday we'll play Old Mac, have dinner, McKee's, hit the bunker bar in the evening, and then hit Old Mac, hit Bandon Dunes on that Tuesday morning and play. And if we finish in time, we may jump over and play maybe the Preserve or Shorties. This last year we did, what did we play? We played Sheep Ranch. We played on a Thursday, Friday, and we played Sheep Ranch on Thursday. And then Friday, we played both of the par three courses, which was really, really fun. If you ever have a chance to do it that way, we started out in the morning. I had one of the first tee times at Shorties, which is 19 holes, all really short. Knowing now what we know about Shorties, we would do some things different. We would definitely have some games set up, whether it's team games like Ryder Cup style or something else. I think they have a set of tees that we didn't realize until like halfway through the round that are way in front of everything else, and they're putter tees. And so you can play your putter on all of the holes. They're all par three, so you can play your putter, and it looks really, really fun. So I think if we do it again, we'll do it that way. But anyways, on that day we played Shorties, and then we hopped right over and played the Preserve, which is right next to Abandoned Trails. So Shorties and Abandoned Trails it's Shorties, Abandoned Trails, and the Preserve are all right there, very close together. So we just jumped over and we played the 13 holes at the Preserve, and that was really, really fun. And I honestly, of the two, if I'm just going to go out and actually want to like a golf experience, it's and I mean that in the sense of like the technical part of golf, actual golf, then I would probably play the preserve. Uh, but if it's just about having fun and not caring about score and just doing different things and trying different shots because it's what it's built for, it's definitely shorties. It's hitting the big banking putts and the big banking chips that roll down, 40, 50 feet off of a bank towards the hole. So PAX JW, yes, I do love Bandon. I've been lucky enough to go every year for the last several, and it's an amazing, amazing place to go. It's golf Disneyland. It's awesome. So Bar Run in Roseburg, Black Butte, and Bandon are the usuals. Two courses that I want to get back to um, are Mallard Creek, which is in Lebanon, which is like 45 minutes from my house. Super fun. It's like kind of up in the hills, up in the foothills of the Cascades on the western side of the Cascades. I played it in the spring a couple years ago, and I actually the videos up on my website or up on my YouTube channel as well. And it's just a really fun, interesting course, and it's different than what I normally play. So that's one that I want to get back to, and then I want to get back to Twisting Tree, which is OSU's course, Oregon State University's home course in Corvallis, and it's just sort of it's not flat per se, but it's a rolling sort of open layout is what I'll call it. It's not a links course. Link style gets thrown around all the time. I would just call it rolling. It's a sort of a rolling open golf course. So those are some of the ones. And then the last one is I really, really have a blind spot when it comes to Oregon courses, and it's Central Oregon. I've played 3 courses in Central Oregon, and that's it. It's both of the Black Butte courses, and then I've played Aspen Lakes, but I've never gone further than Aspen Lakes, further east. So that eliminates Pronghorn, Crosswater, Brasada Ranch, what is it, Widgie Creek, you name it. All of the Bend courses, never touched them. So I am pledging to myself that I will get out to Bend to play at least one of those courses at some point this summer. And I probably won't be very tough to talk my wife into it because she loves playing in the, in the heat, in the sun. So that's what they get. And that's what we'll play in. And speaking of my wife and playing in the heat and the sun, this is a sort of the wish list trip for this year for 2026 is St. George, Utah. So I had brought it up a couple years, like probably a year ago. My boss went down on a trip, and I brought up to my wife, "Hey, let's do a trip to St. George, and go play golf down there and get some sunshine and get some vitamin D." And she was kind of like, "Utah, yeah, no, I don't know." She ran into someone who randomly started talking about, "Hey, if you golf, then you need to definitely go down to St. George, Utah." So I really want to get down there, whether it's what is it, Black Rock Desert, Wolf Creek is down there. That's Mesquite, Nevada, but it's close enough. It's like 40 minutes away. Sand Hollow. There's just tons of other courses down there that I really want to get down and play. And those are, that's sort of a wish list trip. I don't know if it'll happen, but I certainly hope it does. So Mark, you and I, Mallard, halfway between both of us, that it is. And if I'm actually shocked that you haven't been there because you've played far more courses in the Valley and in Oregon than I have. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So let me hear it in the comments. What are your guys' goals? What are your golf goals for this year? Because I sort of just ran through really fast all of my stuff, all of my notes. Falcon Ridge is the little brother to Wolf Creek. I saw that. Have you played in St. George, or is it? Have you played down in Mesquite, St. George area? Because I am absolutely taking recommendations for courses to look at and try to put together an itinerary to convince her to fly down there. I was showing her today, I think flights, there's let's see, there may be 1 or 2 nonstop flights, but most of them are connecting flights, but you can get round trip for like 250, 260 from Eugene, fly from Portland or from Eugene. I'd rather fly from Eugene down to St. George, and you connect through like Phoenix or Salt Lake City, and which is super awesome. So a stay and play package, I think would be a good way to go. But I would love to hear it from people who've actually been and experienced it, and what you think about where to stay and which courses are worth playing, which courses you can kind of put off to the next trip, or make it your, if you have time, if you've got a fourth course and you want to spill some time, throw that one in there. I'd love to hear about it. Dead air, dead air. So Falcon Ridge, is that in Mesquite, Mark? So Mark is par three bogey. Because I looked at a couple of the courses. There's a ton of courses in Mesquite, but they look like they're all um I don't want to fly down. Here's my personal thought. I don't want to fly somewhere to play golf in the middle of a neighborhood. And it looks like a lot of the Mesquite courses are just lined with houses. Now it's great to go play in the sun when you're coming from Oregon and you head down somewhere where you can wear shorts and a light shirt and not freeze your nuts off. But it's not as much fun if all you're doing is going down and playing down corridors of stucco McMansions. It just doesn't sound as much fun to me as some of the other courses that I've looked at. But whatever, maybe I'm willing to look past that because it's going to be in the sunshine. I don't know. I'm also debating. We're also debating whether St. George sounds nice, but so does Scottsdale and so does Palm Springs. So I'd love to hear where you guys go and what those trips look like. Kind of how long you go for. We're thinking 3 or 4 days at the most. But again, we don't have a lot of friends that go down and do that. So any sort of recommendations are pretty helpful. But all right. So it's been 30 minutes. I've run through all of my notes. I didn't really have a ton to talk about, but I wanted to talk about a few things. Sort of about the Super Bowl and how bad it sucked was one. About sort of my golf situation, and halfway, half and half with the houses. Okay, I could deal with half and half houses. As long as the half that doesn't have houses is really scenic, because I think I would hate to be flying down to somewhere like St. George, and you have in your mind all the videos that you've seen of Sand Hollow and Black Rock Desert and all these other places, and just how incredibly gorgeous and scenic they are, and then boom, houses, house, house, house. Plus, nothing feels worse than like snap hooking a drive into a house. Just it's a pit in your stomach, and it's horrible, and then it ruins the rest of the round because you're afraid you're going to do it again. Ask me how I know. Yeah, a roadrunner tried to take your ball. Only one roadrunner experience for me, and that was at a pool in Mexico. It was in Cabo, and this roadrunner was like the size of, I don't, he was huge, and I don't know. I know they get big, but he was a really big roadrunner, and he looked like a dinosaur. And he ran around and he was taking everyone's French fries and tried to run off with a hamburger. It was pretty fantastic. That was my first experience with a roadrunner. Okay, so Sydney, you joined Northwest Golf Guys. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. I am. I talked to Roger, who was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still on. Maybe not. There's only 4 folks on. It looks like, but Roger, I think has joined up too, or was asking about it. I don't know if he did, but I asked Roger about their March events. They have 2 courses. There's 2 events in March. One of them is at the Reserve South course. And I have not played either North or South course at the Reserve. I haven't played either one of those courses, but I know they're really nice. And then the other event is, I think, more towards the end of March, like March 21st, I want to say. And that's the one that's at Willamette Valley Country Club in Canby. And I'm kind of leaning towards that. Roger said, yeah, he said it's the nicer course. So I don't know what you're planning and how many events you're planning on playing, or if you were just doing it, to get your handicap, to renew your gin or what. But I plan to be playing at the March 21st Willamette Valley Country Club in Canby event, which I think is, I'm pretty sure once we hit March, everything is individual stroke play through the summer. So hit me up if you're going to go. And I'd love to see you up there, and maybe we can get into a foursome with my brother-in-law and I. It'd be fun. Good times. So yeah, good. Please do. I know when you register for the events, it asks you if you have a preferred, well, for the two-person events, it says you have a preferred playing partner. And then even for the foursomes and stuff, it asks the same thing. In the individual stroke play, it says, is there a, when you register, it says, do you have a preferred playing partner? So if you just put my name in there, they're pretty good about getting you matched up with who you want to play with. So I've been paired with my brother-in-law every time because we both like list each other. But if you put my name in there, then we should be in the same group, which would be really fun. I do not record those, and I won't record them because I'm really just there to play and have a good time. I don't record every round, but if you do, totally cool with me. My brother-in-law probably doesn't care either because they're slow. The events, the rounds are really slow. So, anyways, well, that's all I got. Unless anybody has anything they want to throw in the comments really quick to talk about. I'm really sort of most of your golf is not recorded. Yeah, I don't really either. I play golf for a lot of different reasons, not just because I have a YouTube channel. And so I have no compunction to record every round that I play. And I feel zero guilt for playing a round and not recording it. Because it's fun to play for playing sake. So that's all I got. Thanks for joining me.